I am Thomas, and I am in the New Montefiore Cemetery. That's located in West Babylon. Division N, Block 2, Grave 7, Section 1, Plot 17. It's right on the edge. You can't miss it. It's on the corner here. And we're visiting, paying our respects to the final resting place of May Questel. The name is not familiar, but I'm sure you know May Questel. Now, that is Aunt Bethany from National Lampoons Christmas Vacation. You know Christmas Vacation, Holiday Road with Clark Griswold. You know them, right? Clark Griswold, Chevy Chase, Rusty. That's Aunt Bethany, who is played by May Questel. What did she say? Some of the things. She's hearing a squeak, right? And she goes, "What's that sound? You hear it? It's a funny squeaky sound." And then Uncle Lewis says to her, "You couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant." Or she goes, "There's another scene." She goes, "Don't throw me down, Clark." And Clark goes, "I'll try not to, Aunt Bethany." And then there's another scene where Ellen says, "Oh, Aunt Bethany, you shouldn't have done that." And Aunt Bethany goes, "Oh dear, did I break wind?" Uncle Lewis goes, "Jesus, did the room clear out, Bethany?" "Hell no. She means presents. You shouldn't have brought presents." Oh man, very funny character in that scene. There's a scene between Clark and Bethany and Nora and Uncle Lewis. And that scene goes something like this. Clark, since this is Aunt Bethany's 80th Christmas, I think she should lead us in the saying of grace. Aunt Bethany goes to Lewis, "What, dear?" Nora Griswold, "Grace." Aunt Bethany, "Grace? She passed away 30 years ago." Uncle Lewis goes, "They want you to say grace." Uncle Lewis goes, "The blessing." And they all pose for prayer. Suddenly, Aunt Bethany recites the Pledge of Allegiance. "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands." Cousin Eddie stands and places his hand over his heart. "One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." Clark says, "Amen." National Lampoons, man. Check that movie out. This movie, usually you could see all these National Lampoons movies right around now, right after Thanksgiving, on to Christmas and beyond. So, May is also known for being the Scott Towels spokesperson. I'm sure you've seen this commercial if you're about the age of 40-ish or so. Pop culture. I remember this commercial. Scott Towels, a new combination of softness and strength. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, man, you can look back at those commercials. If that voice sounds familiar to you, well, it is, because not only was she from National Lampoons and the Scott's Towel.
What's come over you? Acting like you do, trying to be rough. Boy, Pudgy, you aren't built that way. And when somebody cute tries to be a brute, he may find it tough. Oh, if he's not built that way.
That's right, you guessed it. That was Betty Boop. She was the voice of Betty Boop from 1931 to 1939. In more than 50 animated shorts, that was the longest run for any actress doing that voice. During the 1930s, she released a recording of On the Good Ship Lollipop, which sold more than 2 million copies. Fight the Star. In 1988, again, she reprised that role as Betty Boop. Cameo appearance in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And that was Mae Questel's most extensive work for Disney, which was Roger Rabbit. There is Betty Boop. Almost looks like Mae Questel, and from interviews that she done, she immersed herself in that character of Betty Boop, like the real life Betty Boop, with the voice and everything. She lived the character. And also, if you think her work was done in Hollywood, which was more than enough, a lot of accomplishment, she was also the voice of Olive Oil for a short period of time. You know, Olive Oil might be a little bit, for some of you, a little bit before your time. Well, Popeye, everyone knows Popeye the Sailor Man. Olive Oil was Popeye's main squeeze, Olive Oil. She also portrayed that voice for a short period of time as well. Mae also, at one point, portrayed the character of Little Audrey, which was a cartoon strip. You also had voiceovers in Flintstones with Bam Bam, Flintstones Comedy Hour, Pebbles and Bam Bam Show. This is the grave of Mae Questel, as we pay our respects. So Mae was just everywhere, and she's known and very funny. She was discovered, kind of born in New York. She was discovered by what it came down to is in a talent show where she was able to pretty much do impressions of like Fanny Bryce, Marlene Dietrich, Eddie Cantor, Mae West, and various other movie stars at that time. As she also caught everyone's attention, during that talent show, because she was able to do very like spot on animal imitations, like I think like of ducks and dogs and cats, which is what a lot of people needed back then, voiceover work. And that's where she found her niche. And she was also, again, a popular character in movies like you've seen for Aunt Bethany, and she was Scott Towels, and I think it might have even been, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, also Folgers. She was also popular for that commercial. Remember the Folgers lady? You remember from maybe the early to mid 90s. Now I am pretty sure too that she was the Folgers lady. I could be wrong. But yeah, I didn't even, when I looked up on Find a Grave and I looked up the name Mae Questel as a famous person, I had no idea that was, Betty Pop, that was, Olive Oil, that was, again, Bethany. Just, she's so famous. She's been around many generations, and, been here for another grave for Tommy Ramone of the Ramones. And man, just had to come back here to pay my respects to Mae Questel. Funny individual, a long career. She passed away, lived a long life at 90 years old back in 1998. So I hope all is well, guys, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Take care.